Good morning, this is Rabbi Shlomo Furst at Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi. We're getting ready for Purim here in Yerushalayim here at Kodesh. In our Shir, we're learning Hilchos Sudas Purim with the Berura, the Mechaber, the Ramah. And Tsama Nafshi is located in Rakhov Zikra number 6, not too far from the central bus station in Haneki Yeshiva's Knesset. So please join us for our Shirim. Love to have you come in when you're visiting Yerushalayim, wherever you may be coming. Okay, let's review the Mechaber. We'll start with the Mechaber, and then we'll read the Ramah. We'll do a Sif Aleph again, add the Ramah to begin with about the Suda at night. Let's see with that, and then we'll go into the Sif Beis Mitzvah. Yeah. Bachmi, like to
okay. Mitzvah La'abod, Suda Purim. Mitzvah to have a big Suda, Suda. Suda Achad Yotzim. In one meal you Yotzi, you fulfill the mitzvah.
So as the Mr. Berura said, just read the Mr. Berura to review again. Suda Achas Yotzim.
Apukim Iman Dama Chai Lechol Gam Balayla Sheyudalet Dumia the Megillah. How's that similar to the Megillah?
Right, just like there's a chiyuv to read the Megillah at night. Right, so likewise there's a Manda Omer, right, that says, there's an opinion in Halacha that says you're obligated to have a Suda at night as well. Right?
Nevertheless, it is right to eat a meal at the nighttime to maybe Sifalef.
Right, so and just like, as we mentioned yesterday, if there's no Suda at night, right, there's no obligation to drink at night either. Right, so anyone who wants to drink at night, he's risking waking up late and missing the whole Megillah in the morning. So a Suda, yeah, you can have a Suda, and even maybe a glass or two of wine extra, but certainly not to fulfill any ad below yada. That's not relevant at night, and he's going to be sleeping that night anyway, so he'll lose consciousness of the fact between Haman and Mordecai in any event when he sleeps. So he doesn't have to spend a lot of extra effort and expense on drinking wine at night. Okay, let's see.
And if you want to do the mitzvah, you could say that you don't even have to drink it. Just go to sleep and you don't know. You don't have to drink anything.
We'll see what the Ramah says. We'll see the whole question as to whether or not you have to use wine. Or let's say other beverages. Yeah. We'll see the Mishna Berura in general. It's
just the miracle was by way of wine.
Wine, right,
so
right.
You specifically have to drink wine.
Yes. That's if I'm not mistaken, the Rashi and the Ramban, and many poskim hold that wine is the one and perhaps only way of doing it. And other ways of doing it is really not what we're after here. It's just like on Hanukkah, Mishna Berura mentions that the nace was done with oil, so you should use oil for the menorah. So likewise, wine, the nace was done with yayin during Purim, so you should use also litkatchila wine. Okay. Yeah, let's Sudas Purim.
Sudas Purim, Shaseh Balayla Lo Yitzay Dechovato. A meal the Sunnah meal that you did at night, you have not fulfilled the mitzvah.
Right, so you can learn also if a person drank last Purim night and he reached Adl Yada, it's not fulfilled as Yechiyuv. Has to do it again tomorrow.
Haga.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, Gam Balayla, nevertheless in the night, this one you'll be happy and you have big tzad b'suda. You should eat additional things in the meal.
Right. Okay, Mr. Berura.
Well, Shesha Balayla. Hainu Balel Yudalet. Balel Yudalet. The Balel Tedvav. Ivnei Ayvot Pshita Kfa Avaz Mana. In the nighttime of Tedvav, Divei Ayvot was a Kib Yudalit Pshita, it's simple, shoot, obvious. Father's mind that the time was past already.
Right, so I mean, we're just trying to clarify what night are we talking about. So the Mishna says it's obvious we're not talking about Moitzi Purim. There's no question that to start a Suda Moitzi Purim, you have this, the day's over, it's finished. So the only question you could be discussing here is if we were referring to the night of Yud Dalet, going into the day of Purim.
People do that.
They have a Suda Yud Dalet, right?
No, people start Sof Mincha and they do it until 12 o'clock at night.
Tezvav.
Not only that, the people are really hungry after the fast.
What's that? No, but there are two things. That's Yud Dalet. After the fast, that's Yud Dalet.
Yud Dalet, yeah.
That's Yud Dalet. So that's what we're talking about. I mean, the Suda that you have Yud Dalet at night, right? That you're not Yotzi, you're Chiyuv. Your Chiyuv is the next day. But those who if they start washing after Shkia and they have a Suda, they can, as much as they want to eat and drink and be happy, it's, it's like eating matzah today. You're not doing anything for your neshama. It's, there's no reason why they should start that late.
People do that. People, like Levis, they usually do that at the end of Purim. You do it till late in the night. It's finished Purim.
Yeah. If they wash just before Shkia, so there's we'll see that it started before the. And so what Imam Shit is also part of it.
Yeah.
Right? But here, if I'm not mistaken, we're discussing specifically that the whole entire Suda was at the evening Moitzi Purim. Yeah. Okay, let's see. But nevertheless, as the Ramah said, you're still supposed to yard kitzatz b'suda. At night, you're supposed to have a little bit of a suda, right? We'll just do we did this yesterday. Just run through it again quickly. You'd in Gimel, Sif Gimel.
Yeah, kitzatz b'suda. Kitzatz b'suda, okay. Afilo shechal Yud Dalet b'Motzei Shabbat. If it falls out Yud Dalet on Motzei Shabbos, Yasa Suda Chashuba, and then it had an important meal, the Suda Shlishit, and he had a important meal of Suda Shlishit. Kol makom tzarich la'avot tzad b'layla. Nevertheless, you have to increase the meal a little bit on Leil Purim, Lechor Purim.
Right. That's even on Motzei Shabbos.
Ach eina Suda kamo l'machar. However, it is not like the Suda in the morning, and in the day. The Sham, tzarich la'avot yoter, you have to make a bigger meal. It's katvu achronim. The nachon l'bosh b'dei Shabbat. It's corrected to wear Shabbos clothing. Kamkin ba'erev, also in the evening. Yimsa achar kach b'beito nerot, tolkot, and you will find in his house candles lit, shulchan aruch, and tables set, mita mutzat, and the beds are made.
There should be a festive atmosphere in the house, even at nighttime. Right? Shouldn't be Yom Kol. It should be like a Yom Tov Shabbos atmosphere. Okay, and that's on the night of Purim. Right, so come home after the fast, after Ma'ariv, after Megillah, and you should have some type of a small festivities and some environment which is conducive to the simcha of the day. Okay, let's see now Sif days.
Chayvin should do the sumay before you. Person is obligated to become drunk at Purim. Actually, it doesn't say drunk, it says the sumay. What does the sumay mean?
The sumay, it's sort of like the sumay is
Inebriated?
yeah, it's like soaked, like drenched, drenched.
So it really does mean to be drunk.
No, we'll see. And drunk is not what we're talking about. But there are different levels of drinking of drunk. But
I wish there was sumay before you. until you don't know the difference between cursed is Haman and blessed is Mordechai.
Okay, we'll stop here for a moment. First, take a look at the Berura. Yeah. Chayav Inish, a person's obligated.
Okay. I seem to remember hearing once that the Baruch Haman, Baruch Mordechai is the same gematria.
Yeah, that, if you take a look, if you take a look.
And somebody that can't make the cheshbon in his head, then he knows he's already reached the point of that he's a kiyam mitzvah.
Which is Baruch Mordechai?
Baruch Mordechai, Haman is the same gematria. That's what I heard somewhere.
Yeah, take a look at the chart C. When you have the chart C in the top of the left column, Sif Katan Hey, Taz V'Agro.
Taz V'Agro. I am Biyad Ephraim. Yor Nechma B'zeh. Magin Avraham Keresh. Shem Yesh Omrim. Baruch Haman B'Gematria. Taf Kuf Bet. 502. Kamo Baruch Mordechai. Sheni Nish Taker Ad Lo Yedalech. That's what I heard. It's
Yeah, you are right there.
I guess I did hear it somewhere. Ad Shelo Yedalech Chashov B'Gematria. Bator Nish Taker.
Doesn't have to get any.
Fulfill the mitzvah.
Right. So if you want to put a quick end to your Suda. Right, so you say, stand up, give a clap, and says, okay, what's the gematria of Baruch Haman? What's the gematria? So if they can do it, okay, so they get to keep their bottle. If they can't do it, the bottle's off the table. No more. No more. Yeah. Okay, back to the Berura.
V'im Toma ech yichayevu chazal, מה שנזכר בתורה, מביאים בכמה מקומות, השליחות למכשול גדול, למכשול גדול. And in Tsama, if you say how the...
If you'll ask.
If you ask,
hey,
how can Chazal make it applicable to drink a lot when you drunk? מה שנזכר בתורה, what is mentioned in the Torah, in the prophets, בכמה in some places, השליחות למכשול גדול, that the drinking a lot is a stumbling block.
Yeah, tremendous stumbling block.
יש לומר, there's to say, מפני שכל הניסים שנעשו לישראל, ימי אחשוורוש היו על ידי משתה. יש לומר, just to say that, because all the miracle that was done to Israel in the days of Achshverosh, they went by way of a feast.
Right. Mishna really means a drinking feast, right? A drinking feast. So we have to understand what this explanation is, which is really, we'll see at the end, is the Eliyah Rabbah, meaning we have a question here. Everybody knows that getting drunk is a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing, right? Ask anybody, you get drunk, you don't know, people get wild, you gotta have control, right? Women get afraid of what's going on, kids don't understand what's happening, right? Grown adults do silly things and even dangerous things, right? How can we enter in the context of mitzvah such a situation? Why should we enter? Why should the Anshe Knesset Gedolah, Mordechai and Esther? These are the tzaddikim that give us. What do we learn about the Anshe Knesset Gedolah? Right? That they marchik yadam min avera. Everything they said, the also side Torah is that it should be marchik yadam min avera, to keep a person far from sin. So how could we be obligated to do something which is you're almost sure, unless you take very strong precautions, that there's going to be a very risky chance of doing things which are wrong. How can we do that?
To tell you the truth, I've never seen a rabbi getting drunk. I've never seen it. The other people on the table, they drink, The rabbi never gets drunk.
You go to the wrong places.
They're always giving a Devar Torah. You can't give it when you're drunk.
No, but it's, yeah. Can't paskin you, can't paskin.
Yeah.
Look, it's,
But yeah, you've seen, yeah.
some yes, some
Yeah.
not, some yes, some not. It depends, each person's different, each year's different. I mean, it's some yes, some not. But the question is, it's a Shulchan Aruch, Chayiv Inis B'Misuvei Korea Adelo Yadol in order Hamen Uborach Mordechai. Lashon's Chayiv, right?
Well, that's in the Mechaber. Maybe it's Fardim, they do get drunk, and the Ashkenazim do like the Ramah, they go to sleep.
Well, could be, could be, but
He doesn't agree with me.
but theoretically, we're trying to understand why are we obligated to do this, right? You know what? Yeah. So the answer given, Yeshlomo, Mibnei Shekol Yanisim Shanasu, the Yisrael B'Yemei Achashverosh Hayu Alidei Mishna, that all the nisim that took place to the Jews during the time of Achashverosh, they were through Mishna, through drinking, feast of drinking. So how is this an answer? Okay, and we're going to go on, and here we listed many of the significant times when wine was the catalyst for the miracles. So we see that wine was the catalyst for the miracles, right? So one basic way of understanding this, or Scheinberg's, as I used to explain it many times this way, that you have to realize that wine, if it's used properly, you can accomplish a lot, and if it's used improperly, you can destroy a lot. You can destroy a lot. So all these miracles, we'll be listing them now in a moment. All these miracles, we have to, when we're listing them, let's think for a moment, was this an act of destruction, right? Or was this an act of building, of creating something, right? So let's take a look. What is the Berura list? What are some of the events, the miracles that were done through wine?
The main one was the party. They went to the party.
They went to the party.
They went to the party. They went wine. They were given any kind of wine they wanted. That's what started everything. Was the party with wine.
I don't think Mordechai got drunk.
Mordechai
got drunk.
The people did. People drank. They drank Nessa, right? The whole concept is that they went to, I'm not saying drunk or not,
Yeah.
but they drank wine at a party. Everybody agrees, right?
But that's the Mapalato Saman, she didn't drink it.
So
did she drink?
we're not going to ask. I'm saying the original party that Achashverosh did.
Oh,
the
7 days.
original
After the 180-day party,
That's
whatever
right.
you want,
That's
then
right.
the 7 day
That's right.
day for
So they drank there. That's the whole start. It started with the drinking. That's what it started.
Right. So now whether they drank yain nesa or not, disputable because
Okay, so you're right.
Even if it was kosher wine,
That's right.
even if it was kosher wine,
You're drinking in public. You're not even choosing.
the Sefer Kabbah Yosser, others also bring down that you're not supposed to be mishtatif in a suda
That's right.
of that type.
That's right.
We don't go to these.
That's
things.
right.
Mordecai said, "See,
You can get yourself in trouble.
Not allowed to eat in the house of a goy. That was Kavi Shavet, that was
yes,
So
that's
it
right."
gives it down. You're not allowed to eat. Even if the ochel is kasher, you can't eat from
That's
a
right.
goy.
That's right. That's the Gemara in Avodah Zarah. The Gemara in
And
Avodah
that's what
Zarah
happened as
says.
it started. That's how it started.
Yeah.
The whole thing started with the drinking.
Right. The Gemara in Avodah Zarah, Daf Ches, I think, if I'm not mistaken, says. Tana Rabbi Yishmael, Oimer, Yisrael shebechutz la'aretz, a Jew that's in chutz la'aretz, oiv the avodas kochavim b'tahara. They serve idols b'tahara, in purity. What does that mean? A Jew in chutz la'aretz, he serves idols in purity. What's that? Ketzad. How does it work out? Oiv kochavim shasa mishta l'benor. An idol worshipper, he makes a mishta for his son, ostensibly a chassan, he makes a wedding for his son, V'zinim kol Yehudim, Shiviro, and he invites all the Jews in the city, right? Even though they eat from their own food, they drink from their own drinks. Even if they'll have their own waiters, I mean, no one's going to be touching any foods or drinks that they're not supposed to be touching, right? The pasuk is fulfilled upon them. They're eating mezivkei kemesi, which is a reference for Avodah Zarah. Shenemar, it says, "V'yikra lo v'achalta mezivkoi ve'ema ad de'ochel." It's a pasuk. That's a pasuk in actually Shlomo. We'll be getting to it in a couple of weeks. So what does Rashi explain? Rashi explains. Right. B'yom Mishna b'noi, the day that he makes a feast for his son, he's thankful and he's worshiping his idol, because he's very thankful for the time that he's able to reach this time to throw a feast for his son. Ostensibly, that's talking about marriage, a wedding. So you go to these type of situations, and it's the Gemara considers that like your orders are.
I understand if you have like in a hall, a wedding, but the food is from catering,
right?
Is this still considered like it doesn't matter?
If it's again halacha l'maisa, you have to realize and know all the different permutations, how it actually filters down into halacha l'maisa, right? Ketzad Zion. So it's here. It's a halacha in your day. Kuf nun beis sif aleph. You have to see what the law
So
is mentioned.
any meal you make is that considered like that?
If it's going to be, if a idol worshiper is throwing the party, so you're not supposed to go to the party. And here we have Achashverosh throwing this big party, and they went. And Mordecai told them not to go. So that was, at the very least, it's considered like a Avodah Zarah, right? Yeah, Rabbeinu Chanel says Mefurish. He goes to, he's making a chasana for his son, right? Go to a non-Jewish wedding, right? He's Mikol Yehudim B'Irafa B'Sholti B'Shoshan. From their own. Mala Kaseh B'Olam Kilu Ochel Mezivkei Meshi. That's it. So certainly more so, even if Achashverosh is set up, that was a trap for the Yidden, right? So that's what happened, right? So now, getting back to our question here, what's this thing about the drinks, right? And what's the miracle that the wine is a catalyst to produce these miracles? And as we said, the beginning to understanding this is that you have to realize that wine has positive consequences and negative consequences, and it all depends on how much you drink, right? If you drink a proper amount, you can accomplish a lot with wine, right? If you drink too much, you can destroy a lot with wine.
What do you mean by Nafshi? You'd say so. What do you mean by?
Well, that's a pasuk. That's because usually. See, people are usually inhibited from doing and saying and acting the way they would really like to act, right? Because why? Because they have this self-esteem to protect, right? So why, when a person drinks, why does he do and say all these funny things, and he's not acting like himself? Truth is, he's really acting like himself now with the wine, releasing his inhibitions, right? He's not caring about his self-respect. Why? Because not that the wine is doing it to him. He really wants to do all these things. Any day of the week he'll do any of these things if he could get away with it. But he really can't get away with it, right? So what's the wine? The wine's simply an excuse, right? You can say, well, I was drunk, right? No, you weren't drunk. You're using the wine as an excuse to explain why you did all these things. That's really what you really are. This is really what you want to do. This is really what you want to say, right? But you're too embarrassed, inhibited to say it and do it when you're sober because you have no excuse, right? No excuse. So you get on the table now and start dancing, right? Doing somersaults on the table, you know? No excuse to why you're going to do that. But if you're drinking, well, I can blame it on the drink, right? So since you can blame it on the drink, that's why people do all these kind of things. But that's what that's the sod. That's Niknas yain, the yain comes in, yotzi sod, the secret comes out, right? There are a lot of other explanations, but that's one of the pashas. You drink the wine and the secret comes out. They say, Chazal say also, a person's addicted by kaiso, kisoi, koisoi, right? You can tell a person what he's really like, the way he gets angry, right? The way he spends his money, and the way he handles his liquor, right? So it's really just the excuse people have now that they've done the drinking, they've taken the. You mean taking drugs also? They use the drugs as an excuse. Why are people happy to take drugs? Because they have an excuse to do what they really want to do. They can blame it on the drugs, blame it on the wine, on the liquor, and but that's really what they really are. So that's one explanation of what does it mean. Niktas yain yotze so. Yeah, let's continue on a bit with. Let's see what these miracles are that the. Sharatzin is the Berura is telling us all about.
The second one at the end. Shlomo mipnei shekol hanisim שנעשו לניסוי בניין אש היו על ידי משתה, כי בתחילה נתרדה ואשתי על ידי משתה, ובא אסתר.
Okay, number one is, so aside from the drinking that we were doing at the Suda for the 7 days, but when it says on the 7th day, which was Shabbos, also some, I think, if I'm not mistaken, connection was Yom Kippur, Shabbos Yom Kippur, and Achashverosh, right, he was very happy with wine, right, so he got this idea into his head to get Vashti to do what, as I said, he really wanted to do this all along, but he never had an excuse to, he was never drunk enough to dare to do it, right, so he got Vashti and put her into a corner, she said no, right? He took her out of the picture, right? And then Esther came, right? So you see, at the same time, where there's a destructive thing, you know, the queen is getting killed, right? You see that there's a new queen coming in, right? So you see, at the same point in time, because of the same act of this drink, you see a destructive consequence and a constructive consequence, right? So that's teaching us something very basic about the power of wine. Wine has the power to do things which are constructive, and at the same time, it has the power to do things which are destructive as well. Okay, let's see the next point.
And also in the topic of Haman and his downfall, yeah, the Mishna was by way of drinking.
Right, so again, so now, it was a Mishna, but to tell you the truth, I'm not sure, and we're talking about the second Mishna, actually I had the first Mishna, was just her and Achashverosh. Then he said, okay, what do you want? He says, I want another party, for you and Haman, together and me. So, okay, so, I'm not so sure, I don't know, I'm going to look around 100% to know definitively, but I'm not sure if there's any drunkenness at that second Mishna.
The concept was the party, and they always served wine. That was the
for sure they were drinking.
They weren't drunk, maybe,
Yeah.
but they drank, and it was a party. Mishna, he's not saying drunk, saying Mishna, party.
Oh.
There definitely was a party there. It was a concept of a party. That's
No question, and no question. There was definitely drinking there, right? But not in contrast to the first time when it says that Tov Lev Amelech B'Yayin. Tov, I think that's the pasuk. Tov Lev Amelech B'Yayin. That you see that Achashverosh was under the influence.
No question.
Yeah, no question about it. The second Mishnah, you don't see any remiss about that.
No, but it says Mishna, it doesn't say drinking. The second Mishnah is make it clear that it was just it's a party there.
But there was definitely drinking, but
there had to be
not,
drinking.
but not necessarily drunkenness.
Right.
Right? Definitely the first time
Right.
when Vashti went, there was drunkenness. That was clear.
Right.
Right? The second Mishnah that the Mishnah Berura is mentioning here, no mention of drunkenness, and maybe not necessarily so. Right? But it was either so. So was it wine that did it in the second case? Meaning this, we're trying to prove to understand why we're supposed to be drinking on Purim, right? So if it's a Mishnah, so we'll have a Mishnah, we'll have a feast, and we'll have some wine, just like you have on Yom Tov. You have a here to drink a certain amount of wine, same as Yom Tov, so you have wine, so you have wine. But so what's the raya from the second Mishnah that you're supposed to get ad kedei kach ad ilioda? Where's the raya from the second Mishnah?
I think it's maybe not the drunkenness part I'm thinking. I think it's more like there was a party, a get-together party. That's what we're having a party. And we're drinking is just to elevate us to the concept. I mean, that's the way I'm seeing it. I'm not seeing it as drunkenness at the party. I'm seeing the party itself, which is the suda that we're having, is to commemorate. Remember the drinking from the first party. So I'm dividing in two separate. I think it's two separate things.
Right. Okay, so the question is, where is this an answer? For example, look, Chazal weren't afraid. They told us exactly what we had to do. When it comes to Pesach, 30 days after Purim, you have 4 cups, right? 4 cups. So they could have told us 4 cups on Purim also, right? Everyone says 4 cups on Purim, and that would have, then you wouldn't, all the wine companies would be out a lot of income, right? And maybe save a lot of sorrows for people, right? Why did it say? We're trying to answer the question, right? The question was, drunkenness is a mixture gadol. How can you mechayev? Basically, the question: how can you mechayev to get drunk?
Because I think they're giving you one day off. The Chum giving you one day off. They're saying, okay, you know what? Crazy things happen on this day. Get drunk and enjoy your day. It's also I think you're saying you're comparing 4 cups to Purim. I don't think you can. I think it's 2 separate holidays. One is a very solemn holiday, one is a very happy holiday. You only say drink 4 cups and it becomes a solemn one, not a happy holiday.
No, I'm telling you, look, if I drank 4 cups right now in 15 minutes, I'd be pretty happy, right? That's how you have to drink. They weren't afraid.
And it changes the concept of the day, right? It doesn't. If you say 4 cups of wine, so now you're going to say, okay, I'm going to go to my Rebbe, have one because I have time with my Rebbe. And you're going to organize where you're doing it, right? It's not 4 cups. You're sitting at the table, you're drinking your 4 cups, and then after you finish, you go to bed. But if you say 4 cups only, the whole concept of the day, then as time comes to today, it would be like you have to have 4 cups. So I'm going to have one with my parents, one with my wife, and one with the Rebbe, and one with this, and it kills a day. I'm saying it's an open day. There's a simcha of going to people's homes and drinking. And that's okay.
Good, fine. But so if we're supposed to get drunk, if that's what Chazal wants us to do, so that's what we're supposed to do, right? If we're supposed to get drunk, we're supposed to get drunk.
Okay.
Right?
So what's the problem?
How can you? The question is, how can you ask people to do something which is a tremendous risk? You're putting people at risk.
Immoral.
Immoral. It's
Even
immoral.
in the Gemara, there was one Amor that killed another Amor.
We'll refer to the more, yeah.
I think
That was okay.
The answer is they needed a day off.
Okay.
Well, there's a story with with Simchas Torah, how it started, right? And then Simchas Torah was not a holiday. Simchas Torah was done in the time of the Crusades, I think it was. I heard this from the ancestry of the Berura, that Simchas Torah was because there was so much pain going on and killing going on, that the rabbis make dancing to the Torah and Simchas Torah as a day to elevate the Jewish soul. To elevate the Jews at that time, because it was, pogroms and the rivals and all that going on. So that's where the Simchas Torah came from.
Right.
So it's the same thing for Purim. They needed a day for the people to open up and to loosen up all that they had, and that's what they did.
Okay, we'll continue more tomorrow.